Guys, I went to this IPL match.
Rolling.
It was RCB versus Delhi, and
Lavanya, we are rolling.
I went to the RCB versus Delhi Capitals match at the M. Chinnaswamy Stadium last week. The energy, electric. The crowd, insane. The match, a thriller. It was a sad day for the home crowd, with KL Rahul playing a gem of an innings, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Let me tell you a story. I reached the ground a little early, of course, to avoid the Bangalore traffic. The ground staff were out there spraying water on the pitch and the outfield. Hoses running, sprinklers on, a normal sight before any big match. But that got me thinking. On my way to the stadium, I had seen people lining up at water tankers, and this was happening just a few kilometers away from the stadium. And it wasn't the first time I'd seen something like that. I'd read reports over the past few weeks, Bengaluru running out of groundwater in several areas, borewells drying up, even tech hubs rationing water. And I was immediately reminded of that clip. A little girl in tears standing in front of Delhi's CM Rekha Gupta asking for just one thing. As I watched the hoses, the sprinklers, the water being fed to the pitch, I immediately pulled out my phone to do a quick research. While places like Bengaluru and Delhi are dealing with record-level water stress, stadiums like the M. Chinnaswamy still require up to 75,000 litres of water per day during the IPL season. That's not just for the pitch, it includes the outfield maintenance, dust control. Yes, most of it is treated wastewater, but the number still catches your eye. The switch to treated wastewater, it only began last year, when Bengaluru hit a severe water crisis and BWSSB stepped in to set an example. And the more I thought about it, the more it became clear. Water is just one part of the story. The IPL, by some estimates, emits close to 900,000 tons of carbon dioxide every season. That's travel, lighting, streaming, logistics, the whole ecosystem. But let's get one thing straight. This isn't just about cricket impacting the climate. Climate change is hitting cricket back hard. And we are seeing it play out right on the field during the IPL. I'm your host Lavanya, and in today's episode of the Climate Brief, we are diving headfirst into the high-stakes world of the Indian Premier League, where sixes meet sustainability and cricket collides with climate change. We often talk about the IPL scale, its reach, its viewership, its money. But scale doesn't just drive spectacle, it also drives impact, especially on the environment. So how much damage does one season of the IPL really do? Turns out quite a bit. A single IPL match emits anywhere between 10,000 to 14,000 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. Over a season, that adds up to a staggering 750,000 to 900,000 tons of CO2. Here's something that will put that into perspective. Back in 2010, a carbon audit of the tournament was done. That was the first and only audit done by the organizers themselves. It pegged the footprint at 42,264 tons, a number that would have required 169,000 trees in 2 decades to offset. Imagine how much of a number we would need now. The biggest chunk of the IPL's carbon footprint, around 42%, comes from travel and logistics. Think of the IPL as a traveling circus. In just 2 months, the league hops between 10 plus cities with teams crisscrossing India almost every week. And it's not just the players and coaches. There are commentators, production crews, branding teams, and often thousands of fans following their teams on the road. And now let's talk stadiums, because running an IPL match isn't just high energy for fans, it's literally energy intensive. Across all venues, IPL operations consume over 1.6 million units of electricity every year. Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bengaluru, it racks up a 1.2 crore rupee power bill on its own. And while some stadiums abroad have switched to energy-efficient LEDs, most IPL venues still run on old-school power-hungry lights. Missed opportunity? Big time. A few are making moves. For instance, Bengaluru's Chinnaswamy now runs on solar panels that save 600 tons of carbon dioxide every year. Holkar Stadium in Indore has followed suit, expecting to cut 277 tons. These are encouraging steps. But across the IPL's entire footprint, such changes are still the exception, not the standard. And it's not just power. Stadiums need an estimated 270,000 to 300,000 litres of water per week for pitch and ground maintenance, especially in peak summer. While a few stadiums now use treated wastewater, many others still depend on municipal or groundwater sources, raising questions about resource equity during urban water shortages. Now, here's something that often gets overlooked but is huge. In 2010, the IPL's TV viewership-related emissions alone were estimated at 358,000 tons of carbon dioxide. That was the single largest contributor to the league's carbon footprint that year. And that was before the OTT boom. Today, streaming isn't for a select few, it's the default. The IPL 2025 opener between KKR and RCB garnered more than 40.9 crore views on Jio Hotstar alone. We watch matches on phones, tablets, TVs, often in HD or 4K. We are not saying streaming is the problem. But in the long run, acknowledging its energy footprint could help broadcasters, leagues, and tech partners take more climate-conscious decisions. And now, as the league grows bigger, glossier, and more energy-intensive, the urgency to act grows too. Because the story doesn't end with the IPL's impact on climate. It continues with what the climate is now doing to the IPL. Let's be honest. For many of us, the IPL is pure magic. It's masala entertainment, an excuse to bond with friends, a reason to scream our lungs out. But behind that magic, there's a growing tension. Rising temperatures, unpredictable heat waves, and diminishing water supplies are starting to mess with the very foundations of the game. Take IPL 2024 for instance. The 2024 IPL was played in the middle of India's warmest April on record since 1901, with average maximum temperatures 1.35 degrees Celsius above normal, minimum temperatures 1.09 degrees Celsius above normal, and mean temperatures 1.22 degrees Celsius above normal. The heat wasn't just a weather update. It became a part of the match strategy. Teams started altering their toss decisions, choosing to bat first just to avoid fielding in the peak afternoon sun. RCB skipped an entire practice session in Gujarat. Not for strategy, not for rest, just because it was too hot to train. Medical staff were keeping tabs on hydration 24 hours before game day. This wasn't new. We had seen it before. During a domestic series in India, the South Africa A team was hit so hard by extreme heat and illness in Rajkot, they had to borrow players from the Indian squad just to field a team. During the 2023 IPL season, several players, including foreign internationals, openly spoke about cramping, dizziness, and struggling to breathe during matches played in the peak summer heat. At the 2023 World Cup in Mumbai, England's Joe Root described the conditions as like eating air after visibly struggling through overs. Even King Khan wasn't spared. This has happened more times than we'd like to accept. In IPL 2024, nearly half the matches were played in cities where the AQI was officially rated as unhealthy or worse. Delhi hosted matches while AQI hovered near 400. That is hazardous. Pollution and climate change are starting to dictate when and where cricket gets played. In 2016, multiple IPL matches were moved out of Maharashtra due to drought. In 2023, the IPL final in Ahmedabad had to be postponed twice because of extreme rainfall in the month of May, which is a rarity. These aren't one-off indications, they are signs of a larger pattern. Unpredictable weather is disrupting cricket calendars and affecting player health and performance. So what now? So far, we've seen both sides of the equation. On one hand, the IPL is a climate contributor through travel, energy, waste, and water use. On the other, it's a climate casualty battling heat waves, water stress, and polluted skies. But what if it could be something more? What if the IPL, cricket's most watched league, India's biggest cultural export, could become a platform not just for sixes and sponsorships, but for real climate leadership? Because here's the thing. If any league has the visibility, fan base, and financial muscle to lead a sustainability movement in sport, it's this one. And the playbook for change is already out there. Just look at the Paris 2024 Olympics. It wasn't just another sporting spectacle. It was a climate milestone. The Games clocked in at 1.59 million tons of CO2 equivalent, a 54.6% reduction compared to the average emissions from London 2012 and Rio 2016, which sat around 3.5 million tons. How did they pull that off? 100% renewable electricity across all venues. Replacing diesel with hydrogen, biofuels, and battery tech. Designing smarter. 95% of the venues were either existing or temporary, so minimal new construction. And making transport greener by pushing public transit for spectators and reducing food waste. FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 introduced green building codes, zero waste stadiums, and long-term energy planning for venue reuse, and they work too. We've already seen some encouraging efforts inside the IPL ecosystem. Chinnaswamy solar panels installation, the green game tradition by RCB, the tree planting campaign tied to dot balls, which led to over 147,000 trees planted in just one playoff season. It's being followed in 2025 as well, and this time for the entire league. Rajasthan Royals 2025 initiative to plant trees for every run scored in Jaipur-hosted matches. So learning from these, if the IPL wants to go from symbolic to systemic, here is what needs to happen. Transparent carbon audits every season. Bring back the IPL's carbon reporting from 2010. Make it annual, make it public, let fans, franchises, and cities track progress and pressure accountability. Green stadium certification. Every venue should meet minimum sustainability benchmarks. Rainwater harvesting, waste segregation, solar capacity, public transport access, sustainable transport incentives for fans. Discounted tickets for fans who take metro. EV parking zones. Carbon offset options during ticket purchases. Turn us spectators into sustainability partners. League-wide ban on single-use plastics. Phase out disposables across all stadiums. No plastic water bottles at stadiums. Carry your own bottle. Replace with compostables and reusables. Public sustainability scorecard for franchises. Rank teams based on their climate initiatives. Celebrate the leaders, challenge the rest. Make climate action part of the team identity. And while we're at it, bring back the storytelling. Remember those early IPL years on TV? We'd get PSA-style ads about saving electricity, turning off engines and gases, or even protecting forests and water. Today, on OTT, we get betting ads, reels, flashy promos, but no space for sustainability. The IPL didn't just shift platforms, it lost a storytelling opportunity. So here's the bottom line. The IPL isn't just cricket's biggest league, it's one of India's biggest stages. And with that kind of stage comes responsibility and opportunity. We're not asking the IPL to be perfect, but we are asking it to be honest, to be transparent, to be ambitious, to be willing to lead. If this made you rethink cricket, imagine what we could do if the league did too. Because in the IPL, timing is everything, and the time for climate action is now. Subscribe to the Climate Brief. Stories like this every week. Grounded, real, and ready to play ball with change.